for our audience, and it's called
Rewind.
Rewind. Already you start to get a hint of what it's about, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I mean, my earliest memories of sports was me sitting on my dad's lap at 4 a.m. watching Azuma Nelson on a black and white TV powered by car battery.
Thank you.
You
By
know,
the way, car battery is not a company name.
no,
Yeah. Powered by car. No,
car
no.
battery.
It means you are not connected to the national grid at the
That's
time.
right.
Was there
It was
national grid?
inside
Oh,
light.
there was.
There was.
He was
There
operating
was,
on
but
inside
you were,
light.
You are operating on your own.
We didn't even know it existed. So yeah, I mean, my dad introduced me to sports. I watched Azuma Nelson. I grew up watching. I don't have a lot of memories about Italia '90, although I think I caught some of the things that were being said at the time. But I definitely did watch Senegal '92. I watched Barcelona '92.
Oh, yes.
I watched Japan '93. Ecuador '95. Egypt '97. I caught it versus Oscar de la Hoya. You know, quite a number of very iconic Ghanaian sporting events.
Yeah.
Not that they were hosted in Ghana, but for some reason, these are moments that I believe lived or continue to live in the memories of a lot of Ghanaians. Although I think people need a reminder of some of these moments. And again, we live in times when these days successes for Ghanaian sports is quite rare. We've consistently gone to the Africa Cup of Nations and haven't been able to win it. We are talking about 37, 38, nearly 40 years of not winning the AFCON. In my lifetime, I haven't seen the Black Stars lift an international trophy, for instance. I've been fortunate to see world titles being won in the ring. So yes, we go back into time and tell some of the stories, great stories. And it is not great because Ghana won, but they are great stories because sometimes there are backstories to the event, to the tournament, to Ghana's campaign in those tournaments. Those are the things that Rewind will be focusing on. We'll be hearing from some of the key actors, not necessarily people who are on the field of play, but people who lived, you know, those stories as journalists, as people who wrote about those events and stuff like that. Essentially, that is what Rewind is about.
So it's
Telling
about
tales of
legends.
yesteryears. Legends. Absolutely.
Legends of Ghanaian sports.
Absolutely. Because, I mean, if you're telling the story of Senegal '92, you're talking about Abedi Pele. And I'm sure people have heard what Carl Tufo said about Abedi Pele, that in his lifetime, he hasn't seen a player who has dominated the Africa Cup of Nations in the way Pele did in 1992.
Yeah.
And while putting this together, I've had to go back to some of the clips and look. Watching Abedi Pele felt like watching Lionel Messi today.
Yes.
It's one thing having a player who dribbled down the flanks and put in a cross. It's another thing having a player who run through bodies in the middle of the park and score.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that is what we are talking about when we talk about Abedi Pele. And I'm sure people are going to catch a glimpse of what Carl Tufo was talking about.
Yes, yes. I mean, I remember Senegal '92. In fact, I'm embarrassed to show how old I am because I remember Italia '90 and all the others.
Yeah.
You know, I was 10 years old for Italia '90. Charlie Aguru.
You grow.
Yeah,
Charlie,
but I remember Abedi Pele because as soon as you mentioned the Messi, comparison, his image came to mind. That thing where you don't quite understand how the ball is glued to his foot. You can't quite explain it with physics.
It's amazing.
I think there was a member of the '96 squad who was on Sports League with Nathaniel Atap. I've just forgotten his name.
Is it Joado?
Joado, maybe, yes. And he talked about how Abedi Pele, prior to the game, sat alone. And, he was actually thinking of the game, as if he was in a trance, thinking of how he was going to play the game. And once you give him a pass, you knew he was going to deliver. And after he got injured in the game against Zaire, in our quarterfinal against Zaire, he wanted to play in the semifinals. His boots wouldn't fit. He tried everything until the medical team stopped him from playing. In fact, he really wanted to play that semifinal. I remember Senegal '92. Of course, in Italia 1990, I was there when Francois Oman-Biik scored the goal. You understand?
Yes, but I mean,
I was in the stadium.
You were there for many things.
I was in the stadium when he scored the goal against Argentina.
Yes,
captained
you
by
were there for the
Maradona.
first ever Olympics.
You know
in Greece.
that. You are in the spirit.
Yes.
But the most important thing is that when it comes to Abedi Pele, You may not like his personality, but you can't hate his football.
Look, Pele touches the ball with the outside of his left boot. And once he begins to move the ball, he moves it with so much speed and power and poise and swerve and balance. He lifts you for dead. And like I mentioned, what is amazing is that we are not looking at a player who just push the ball down the flank and go past you. Yeah. You see him coming, but you can't stop him right through the middle. Yeah. And that's the thing that was amazing about Bidipili.
That's the
totally dominated, Senegal 92. And again, I don't think that anybody could have put it better than Kaltofo did. No player at the Africa Cup of Nations has done what Bidipili did.
And it's the stuff of legends, right?
Absolutely.
So it will be stories like this.
Yeah.
I'm sure Azuma Nelson will get a show in as well.
Absolutely. Father and son. Azuma Nelson's father and son is one of the stories I'll be telling. Azuma Nelson versus Jeff Fennick too.
Yeah.
So they had been the first fight and it ended in a draw. A lot of people didn't agree with the result. They thought that Fennick had won. Azuma said, look, we'll have the rematch. Wherever you want the rematch to happen, whether it's going to happen under the bed of your grandfather, we'll still fight. Rematch happened in Australia.
Yeah.
Before a huge 30,000 Australian crowd.
Hostile crowd. Let's be clear.
Crowd. Azuma Nelson, you find him entering the ring with the song, I'm not moved by what I see. Hallelujah.
That was quite a night.
He went in there and delivered. And those are the stories, the backstories. We give you the backstories to that particular fight.
It was like
there are other stories in the series that I'll be talking about, but I'll mention just one. The Bochum disaster.
6-1.
6-1.
Ghana versus Germany.
Iran.
Is one of the stories that we'll be telling in this series as well. So,
but I also love to know something about Japan '93.
Yes,
Coach Paha in his lucky shirt.
It's also part of it.
you know that the day on the final when he changed his shirt.
Yeah.
And Ghanaians are very superstitious. The final against Nigeria, when Coach Paha changed his shirt, we lost. And they said, you should have won that shirt.
Yeah.
But we were always talking about how Coach Paha has been wearing the same shirts.
And we're winning.
Yeah.
And those days, it was so simple because, the dominant newspaper at the time was the Daily Graphic.
Yes.
And so you look at the back page of the graphic, you have all the stories when it comes to sports. I remember following the Ghana Premier League at the time, old Division 1, when Kotoko would whip, Bafakwa 5 million. That's why I started supporting Kotoko. In those, so I was reading one of the stories.
What were some of the clubs then? There was Bafakwa in there.
It was BA United.
There was BA United as well. There was Dewu Youngsters. Oko United.
Hazakas.
Hazakas, 11 Wise were there.
Those were the days.
Those were the days, and not, and RTU too.
Yeah.
Oh, now it's...
Now it's still hard to fool. If we Barney is doing things with a crowd.
It's okay. It's one man team.
Those were the days.
Yeah, making Winston remember his 40s.
So yes, we'll be delving into all of these stories. Ikote Oscar de la Hoya will also feature in the series.
That was in 2000, eh?
No, I think that was in 1990. Yes, 1999.
Yeah.
And we'll be telling the story also of the year 2000. Glad you mentioned it. When Accra Hearts of Folk won the CAF Champions League.
Oh, yes.
As well. So it's going to be packed. It's going to be exciting for those who lived through those years. It's a sense of nostalgia that they're going to have.
So this is on what, radio?
It begins, it's on TV. It's on Joy News. It begins on Saturday at 4 p.m.
Wow.
And then from there, every Saturday, 4 p.m., we'll tell you a different story.
How about Equator 95?
It's part of it. Audu Saka. I already have Audu Saka on, in that particular series.
So this is on the Joy News channel?
This is on the Joy News channel.
That's
Saturday,
fantastic. So listen, make a date on Saturday afternoon.
You can't miss this one, I tell you.
Yeah, Saturday afternoon.
Where is Emmanuel Bento?
Bento, last I heard, was in Tema.
Okay.
I believe, yeah.
Football-wise, what happened to him?
Oh, those are stories of what might have been.
Save that.
What might have been.
Yeah, that's all going to unfold as definitely. Rewind comes to your screens on the Joy News channel. So listen, Saturday afternoons are going to be great fun on Joy News. 3:30 you can catch AutoZone and then follow up with Rewind at 4 p.m.
But Kojo, before he goes, it's important we do this. I mean, I've been monitoring. I love football.
Yes.
I love football so much.
You're an Arsenal fan?
I can't support Arsenal. I'm not that patient.
What's real broken heart?
I'm just like you, Manchester United. We're becoming like Arsenal these days. Anyway.
No.
But let me move on. And so I've been monitoring. Yesterday when I saw it for the first time on the page, I doubted it. But I mean, it was confirmed Lionel Messi wouldn't be at Barcelona this season.
He's leaving.
Is leaving, and it's gotten a lot of people. I mean, I've seen all the artworks. Welcome to
including
Kotoko.
Hearts and Kotoko.
But the one that actually struck me was the Olympics one.
Made it clear they are not interested in Lionel Messi.
Oh no, but I've seen Olympics country now. It will mean third match at Olympics.
What does that mean?
That's like Messi.
You've not seen that one?
No, I haven't seen that.
What does it mean?
It means that Olympics is on his heart and he
It's
wants
dear
to
to
play
him.
for-
Now he wants to play for Olympics.
for the Olympics.
Look, I'm going to send this to Dennis. I mean, the
Pretty
video does the
interesting, I
trick.
mean.
The video does the trick, you know. So this guy that says, oh, Olympics country, you know. I mean, turn match at Olympics. That's Olympics. Welcoming Lionel Messi. But hey, what's happening?
Yeah, I mean,
we're told PSG's already in talks with him.
everybody has been linked to Lionel Messi, and I mean, naturally you'd expect that. But as surprising as it may be, for some of us, it's not really surprising because if you know the financial situation of Barcelona and you understand the financial fair play rules, you would know where they were headed towards. And so even after taking a pay cut, you look at the figures that were being mentioned and it begins to make you wonder how Barcelona were going to accommodate that. They've brought in new players. If they had tried pushing this Messi deal through, it would have meant that some of the new players couldn't have been registered.
Yeah.
You know, and so they've made a decision to let Messi go so that they'll be able to move on from this point. Another conspiracy theory suggests that Barca is only trying to force the hand of La Liga, the regulators, to make changes to the rule or make this Messi situation an exception because of what Messi represents to the La Liga.
Yeah.
And so we are just trying to figure out ways because it's impossible, structurally impossible for them to have a deal that has Messi remaining at Barcelona.
Where is Messi in terms of his own form? Is he at his peak? Is he on the wane? I mean, he's been at the same club for 20 years now.
He's in between his peak and, I mean, with Messi, you can't really talk about him winning. I mean, on a decline. He's not on a decline, certainly. But when you play for one club for so long and the team, the playing body goes through certain changes where the quality that comes in is not as good as the quality that left, it becomes difficult. But as an individual, I don't think that anybody can look at Messi and say that he's on a decline. It's very difficult to make that statement. Because we are talking consistency. As bad as Barca have been in the last few years, Messi's numbers remains consistent. And that really is it. And that is why you're going to have big clubs still queuing up for his signature. The likes of Asante Kotoko, Great Olympics, Hearts of Oak, all one line of Messi.
Oh, please. You are joking.
Kotoko,
Please.
Yeah.
So-
Kotoko cannot afford
so-
to pay any player
The thing-
250,000.
Again, the difficulty is this. Which club will be able to accommodate Messi's demands within the context of the financial fair play rules?
Yeah.
That is another
It's going to be
difficulty.
interesting.
So, we have Chelsea already linked with an over £100 million deal for Romelu Lukaku. PSG have got huge wages on their books. I'm not too clear on what, adding Messi's wages to that books, the implication is going to have. You are looking at Manchester United, you are looking at Manchester City. City have splashed 100 million on Jack Grealish already. So that really is a difficulty. What he represents as a person, the value that he represents as a person.
Do you feel, Man City may probably, now knowing the situation with Messi, may have regretted signing Grealish because
Probably.
Messi was there.
Probably. He brings a lot on and off the field, in terms of the brand that he carries. Also in terms of what he guarantees. And I'm talking easily I've brought in Lionel Messi because you're not talking about a transfer fee involved. You're only talking about his wages, which, by the way, are huge. Huge wages. But
It's going to be interesting.
we have to wait and see where he ends up.
It's going to be interesting to see. I always think, whenever I think about Messi, you can't help compare him to CR7. Obviously, that's the big comparison. CR7, I see them as the CR7 is a science experiment, and Messi is a magic trick.
Absolutely.
So
you
you
described
can
it perfect.
you can explain how CR7
CR7
does what he does, and it's still amazing.
But you can't.
But you can't.
You can't really explain what Messi does. Yeah.
Well.
You blink and he's gone.
Oh goodness.
People are toying with the fantasy of having CR7 at Manchester United, Messi at Manchester City.
Imagine that.
My word. My
Anyway.
word.
Anyway, everything is possible. Everything is possible.
Absolutely.
Let's see how it unfolds. And of course, thank you so much for getting us
Thank you
excited
very much
about
for having me.
Rewind coming to your screens on Saturdays. It's the Super Morning Show. We're back with our big stories after these.
Imagine say water wake up at dawn. E no buff, e no chop. When it vanish for your area for 2 weeks, you not get one drop safe inside your tank.
Hey.
Hajia, our life was in dangerous. Only our neighbor get water with water tank.
Water tank?
Yes, water tank. Mama